We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Welcome to the live in-person and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Our opening hymn this morning is number 346 in the gray hymnal, Come Sing a Song With Me. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 346, Come Sing a Song With Me.
Come sing a song with me, come sing a song with me, come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me, come dream a dream with me, come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me, share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Thank you for joining us here in person, and thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue to live stream and post these services on our YouTube channel for virtual attendees. My name is Adam Wedeking. I'm a member of the worship committee, and I will be your worship associate today. Other members of the worship committee who make this service possible include Alec Peck, our music coordinator, who is monitoring our visual and online connections, and Karina Jacques, who's in charge of our sound system today. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. We come here for different reasons: to find community, to seek our spiritual and personal truths, to nurture our heart and soul, to explore new ideas, and perhaps to find the answers to some of our bigger questions. We hope you will find comfort, connection, challenge, and love here. We hope you will find ways to provide outreach to others in our congregation, in our local community, and in our world community. Thank you for joining us this morning. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements we'd like to share. We'll mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we'll leave up a slide with all this information, and it's available on our website. William Bill Rowe, a beloved member of our church, recently passed away and will be greatly missed. Please join us here in the church sanctuary Saturday, July 6th at 11 a.m. to honor and celebrate the rich, full life of William Rowe. A reception will follow in the parish hall. Welcome to summer. Starting next Sunday, July 7th, all services during the month of July and August will start an hour earlier. This means they will begin at 9 a.m. This is because our beautiful historic building, finished in 1892, has no air conditioning. It will be holding services in the cooler hours of the morning. Join our UUCR family to celebrate Independence Day on Thursday the 4th, starting at 3 p.m. This year, see her here, she must be at home watching. Pat Kowunder has graciously invited us to her home and garden and backyard. There will be a sign-up list by the front entrance after the service to let us know what you can bring to share. Please let us know if anyone would be interested in participating in a carpool, getting to her house. I believe you can talk to Grace about that. We welcome all of our visitors today and welcome back our old friends. We would love to meet you during coffee hour after the service. If you're comfortable doing so, please give us a wave here so we can recognize you later. And for those who are on Zoom, though, thank you for visiting us. And if anybody who's on Zoom who's new, you can use the Zoom wave gesture or just wave at your camera. And again, those who are in person, we'd love to talk with you in the parish hall. We'd love to talk to you in the parish hall after the service, and we have coffee and refreshments, and also you can sign our visitors guest book out there. Please leave your name before you leave so that we know you were here, and leave your contact information if you want to update on church events. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. And now I invite you to sit back, take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. We are happy to welcome today's guest speaker, Ipyani Lockhert. Ipyani Lockhert has years of political canvassing work under his belt, as well as years of outreach work in the African American Health Coalition under the guidance of Linda Hart. He has worked as a community organizer for a number of nonprofits and is currently the Inland Empire Faith Organizer on behalf of the Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. He seeks to encourage humanity through a number of mediums via his company, Motivational Realizations, which you should follow on all the social media. It's always got really great stuff being posted there. I'm really happy to welcome Ipyani back to our pulpit. It's been a few years since he shared some poetry with us, I think back in 2018. It's really good to see him back up here. Today's topic will tie into our fifth and sixth of the 7 UU principles, which we strive to live by. The fifth is the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and the society at large. And the sixth is the goal of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. The sermon this morning will focus on ways of becoming a hub for community engagement, action, and betterment. We have 2 lightings of sacred flames. The first is a remembrance candle for the indigenous peoples. We remember that underneath us is the unceded land of indigenous peoples, the Serrano, the Cahuilla, the Luiseño, and the Cupeño. We light this sacred flame in their remembrance and in the recognition of their struggle for self-determination and dignity. Our second flame is our chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be a part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey in worship together. Today's chalice lighting is We Carry Our Faith into Action by Crystal Hogan. We ignite this flame, symbol of our faith, to beckon us into community, warm our hearts with love, and give us a light to follow as we carry our faith into action. Thank you, Bill. Our next hymn is When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. It is number 1008 in your teal hymnal. Feel free to sing along as the Spirit moves you. The words will also be projected up here on the screen. Please stand and bow your spirit and join us in singing number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
With
This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is shown here, as well as on the church website and in the newsletter that just came out. You may contribute by Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in the church each Sunday. Amazon gift cards are also available. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage for free. I'm not sure who you can see in person here who has them, but I'm sure if Robert is around or a board member can help you get those. You can also see Robert Braun in the church office during the week. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. Thanks for your generosity. To those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. To all of you who have joined us here today, we thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? A bag will also be passed around to collect food and hygiene items for those in need. Thank you. Our next hymn is number 402, From You I Receive, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand and bow your spirit and join us in singing hymn number 402, From You I Receive. The words will also be on the screen. And now I would like to introduce Hilda Cruz, who will be giving our meditation today.
Good morning, everyone. I am a faith organizer. And a couple of months ago, I went on this convening where we practice Tai Chi movements as a form of centering, meditation, and also looking and finding and receiving and cross-sharing energy. And so we talked then about the elements, and I connected these elements. I decided to write it as a poem kind of an affirmation for my daily work in connection to what I do out in the community. And so I'm sharing this with you. I am mountain, strong, connected, timeless, always centered, viewing, gazing far horizons. I am cloud, passing by, ever shifting, regulating, adapting, life-giving. I am waterfall, majestic, plunging, flowing, a force to be cautious with. I am sun, firing heat, light, life, influencing force. I am reciprocity, friendly, harmonious connection. I give, I take in an exchange of mutual benefits for the good of all, for the good of community, for the good of the people of our Creator.
Thank you. I would now like to introduce Ipyani Lockhert speaking to us on faith to action.
Good morning. Good morning. How you guys doing today? Excellent, excellent. First and foremost, I just want to say, thank you for those that are present. I see one of my former executive directors in the house, so thank you for being here, Maribel. Shout out to my family, my cousins, my aunts, regional director Hilda Cruz. I know people are watching online as well, so I just wanted to say thank you for your time, because many of us could have been anywhere in this world, but you guys chose to be here, or some may have been led to be here. So I just want to say once again, thank you for your presence. My name is Ipyani Lockhert. I am the Inland Empire Faith Organizer on behalf of Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. And then I'm also the creator of our Motivational Realizations, the Energy of Positive Thought. It's one of my many entrepreneurial endeavors that I'm pursuing within this gift of life, But one thing that I definitely want to acknowledge is my father, my wonderful father, Eddie Lockhert, and my mother, Sonia Lockhert. My brother and I would not be if it wasn't for the love that we were created in. I know we were created in love, and we were raised in a house full of unconditional love. So I'm forever indebted to the love that they cultivated and the love that they give and the irreplaceable time that they invested. We don't get any of these seconds back, but we can give of ourselves for a greater good, for a greater purpose. And so, Mom, thank you for loving my father, and thank you, Dad, for loving my mom. And I am forever indebted to that love. So today I'm just here to share a little share a message, right? It's called, Faith to Action, becoming a hub for community engagement, action, and betterment, right? And when I was formulating this, I was thinking like I was going to get up here and talk about our faith-rooted organizing and core strategies and things of that nature, right? But that's more so a presentation. Here, this space is for a message of encouragement. So kind of taking Adam's suggestion of looking at the 7 principles, because I really feel like these principles are not just principles of the Unitarian Universalist Unitarian Church. I always try little dyslexia here and there. I know these, thank you, brother. I know these are the principles of the UU Church, but I see these as principles that we can apply as humanity, that these are accords that we can ascribe to, regardless of whatever belief system that we may choose to approach our enlightenment, right? I often say what each person believes happens beyond the veil of death, that's their personal choice. But I myself, I am here to live. I do want to acknowledge that I was raised in the Christian faith, Christian belief. But through my experience in this world, I see that many people come to enlightenment or come to their best selves through many a paths, right? There's many of courses that the water runs upon this earth, you know, but it all kind of funnels into the ocean, right? So whatever mountaintop that you're funneling down into the ocean, whatever path you choose, I just hope that you get to where you want to be with your gift of life. So today I'm just going to kind of briefly focus on the 7 principles, but I kind of flipped them on their head. So I'm starting from 7 to 1. And so the first one that just want to kind of look at and think about, and I'll read it to you as well. Respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part of. The note that I wrote is, no creation is an island. We are community. We are a village of living lights, shine brightly. That principle for me shows that we are an ecosystem of life. Each piece of life, each creation plays a role, even though to us as the humans, right, we might think the role of the earthworm is insignificant, right? But we are wrong with that thinking, because the earthworm goes through and eats the metallics and stuff out of the soil. And what it leaves behind is the nutrients that fertilizes and feeds the plants. And often these plants feed the creatures, and ultimately the plants and creatures, for those that eat meat, you know, end up on our plate, right? So, and then we consume that, give back. And it's a cycle there. It's a process. It's an interconnectedness. There is a web of life, and all creations, we share that. And we're blessed to share that. You know, this is truly a gift. And none of us can make it alone. We all are standing on the shoulders of giants. We all were pushed into this world or pulled into this world. And with that gift of life, this is the commonality that we have. This is the gift that we share. And it's a limited time experience, at least from my vantage point. But we have much more than just the gift of life and this earth and this plane of existence that we share. We have so much that we are connected for. We're each other's neighbors, and we should be loving neighbors, because we are humanity. We are one, like each other. We are alike. It's only 2% that determines from a genetic point of view, it's only 2% of our DNA that basically determines your skin color, your eye color, and the texture of your hair. So with that in mind, we are 98% identical, right? So why do we allow ourselves to be divided by the 2%, right? We have to be better than that. We have to recognize that we are a part of a greater system. We are an ecosystem. The next principle is the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. When you look at the word peace, what resonates in me is harmony, right? And when you look at the word liberty, what I think of is freedom. And when you look at justice in this concept or with this framing, it makes me think of equality and equity. To focus in on harmony, I believe that it's like a symphony, right? Classical music is my first love. And we each are instruments of voice, instruments capable of singing, producing rhythm, producing noise, producing sound. And it's like we are a concert, and we want to be in harmony. Even though I might be a saxophone, you might be a flute, you might be a cello, right? But we can make a beautiful symphony, a beautiful rhythm in concert, in unity, in harmony. I think we should all strive to play the music that we each have been given. And it's an honor to be able to produce music, or to raise your voice, or to sing, or to move. It could be dance for one, you know. It's a concert, or we're at a dance hall. We're doing the electric slide together, right? is a harmony there that we can strike. There's a balance there that we can strike. When I look at liberty and associate that to freedom, it makes me think of many of things in this world, and there's many of things that limit people's freedoms, right? You know, I think of conflicts that are happening around the world right now in many of places throughout Africa, many of conflicts throughout the world, and how most people just want freedom. They want freedom to express themselves. They want freedom to love who they want to love. They want freedom to ascribe to their traditions and cultures, to practice what they believe freely without any hindrance, right? I think that should be a goal, because each one of the belief systems, each one of the practices, each one of the faiths that are held in this world are beautiful, and people have offered many of great things that have shaped our world to this very day. In this context as well, when you look at justice, you think about, for me, I think about equity and equality, where we are equal. This gift that we share, this gift of life, this gift and blessing of life, we've all been blessed with this. So why should one feel that they're superior than the other? None the greater, none the lesser. We are equals, and we share in this gift. And it's an opportunity for us to cultivate the world in a better way, creating a better future for our youth, because ultimately we are so instrumental in being a foundation for those that are going to come after us, ones that are growing right now and those yet to come. So when we are in this world, I encourage people to be equitable with what you do. Think equality in all that you do. Are you being fair? Or are you being judgmental? You want to, as many people say, treat people like you want to be treated, right? So make sure you ascribe to that. The third principle, the right of consciousness and the use of democratic process within our congregations and society at large. You know, when I read this principle, it made me think systems. And when I said systems, it made me think the mind, right? In relations to consciousness, right? Nowadays, at one point in time, the word woke meant you were aware, right? You were aware of what was going on in your world, the happenings of your world, or you were informed, right? That's another way of saying that, that you were informed. But now in today's world, being informed is almost like they try to demonize being informed, you know, like being learned, being knowledgeable. Like that's never a bad thing. That's never a bad thing. Knowledge of self, knowledge of how our communities work, the systems that are in play, how the interconnectivity, how the knowing of how bills are passed, right? How the city is led, because we're really literally like right down the street from City Hall, right? So how the leadership process, how the government process works, how the systems that allow us to have power and water. It's nothing wrong with being knowledgeable. We should be encouraging people's pursuit of knowledge. We shouldn't be shunning that or stigmatizing that in any way that's not beneficial to humanity. Also, when I think about that principle, it makes me think of processes, method. The method that we can utilize for the democratic process, to me, ultimately hinges around communication. We have to communicate. We have to talk to one another. You know, we can't, sadly, we're in the midst of an election season where often, sadly, you see the worst of humanity, and sometimes in this nation in particular, where we're othering one another's. We are literally writing off a whole group of people because they lean to the left, or we're writing a whole group of people off because they lean to the right. No, man, that's not the way, right? We have to communicate. And with that communication, it needs to be in the pursuit or seeking understanding, finding that common ground, because in my mind, I believe that many of us as humanity and humans here in this nation, in the United States of America, that we do desire, we kind of desire a lot of the same things, right? It's just the approach, right? We might disagree on the approach, but I've never met a person that says, I want to live in a violent, unsafe community. Have you ever ran into someone that's expressed those sentiments, right? No, right? Like I don't want access to healthcare because I want to be unhealthy. I don't want to take care of my temple, right? I've never met anybody that had those kind of statements or expressed those kind of views. No one wants to live in an unsafe community. No one wants to have to suffer or make hard decisions of putting food on the table or paying for your medication, right? Something that your life-sustaining medication, but food also sustains your life. So you're in a heck of a conundrum right there when you have to face those kind of decisions, right? So I say all that to say, when we communicate in seeking understanding, trying to find the common ground. It's more than just this earth that we walk on, that we share. There's so much more. So I encourage each one of us to be graceful, kind, and compassionate when engaging with community members or with your fellow brothers and sisters, or they, them, however each one identifies themselves. Each one has the right to identify themselves as they want. And I encourage people to respect, acknowledge what people want to be called or how they present themselves. Acknowledge it and respect that, right? Because we've all been given this gift of life, whoever the power may be, whoever the ultimate creator is or creators, you know, none of us truly know. We reside on our faith. These are the traditions that were handed to us when we arrived, right? So, but just know that above all that, you are a human, we are a human. That's your fellow man, that's your fellow woman that you're engaging with. So speak with love, speak with kindness, and encourage one another through acts of love, words of love, and meaningful dialogue. And this is key, deep listening, right? So often when we talk to one another or we're debating or having conversations, so often we are listening for rebuttals. We're not listening to understand and hear and acknowledge what they're expressing. I'm challenging myself to get a better understanding with different spectrums of the political spectrum, because I want to understand how people, what they perceive as a threat or what their values are, and why do they feel the way they feel. Because I feel if I'm able to get a better understanding, that I can help find that common ground. I could be a bridge to help, hopefully, Lord willing, to unify us as a nation, as a people, and ultimately as a world, as a world. The next principle that I want to look at is a free and responsible search for the truth and meaning. We each look at this world via our own unique lenses, or better said, our lived experience, right? And everyone has a different, unique lived experience. So that experience is going to definitely shape the way we see our world. It could also shape the values that we have as individuals. It could shape the principles that one applies within their life, right? But for me, I see this principle as you being like responsible for your enlightenment, for the betterment of thyself. I see this as well as being responsible or accountable to your walk, to your path that you must navigate, right? Because there's a course for us. Some might see it linear, some might see it like tic-tac-toe, you bounce, whatever, right? However you see it, there is a course, there is a pathway, there is a path for each one of us to walk. And you're accountable to walk down that path. Down that path is fulfillment. Down that path is your destiny. Down that path is enrichment. But it's upon you, it's incumbent upon you to take autonomy of yourself, dominion over yourself, over your temple, your mind, body, and spirit, and find the courage and strength to walk down that path. That path is meant for you. No other person can walk that path. That path was hand created for you. So be accountable. Another way of saying it is be accountable to your dreams. Be accountable to the visions that we each been given, because I solely and wholeheartedly believe that we've each been given a vision. We've each been given a dream. And that's not to tease us. That dream, that vision is to show you what is there ahead for you, meant for you specifically. But the key is having the courage and strength to render the efforts. I thought it's so poignant how we have, Don't ask God to move the mountains unless you're willing to pick up the shovel, right? You know, you have to be willing to do the work. I often say it like this when I'm doing my like motivational realizations thing is, often we pray for miracles, right? But what do you consider the breath of life? Isn't that a miracle in itself? The fact that we've been gifted the breath of life on this very day, this new day, given to all creations that live. When we look at the sky today, might not be a lot of clouds because the sun's out, right? But when you look at the sky and the clouds in the sky, those clouds will never be seen again for the rest of eternity. Each day is a newly given gift. It's a miracle. It's a blessing in itself. And with that knowing, I am more than willing to do my part, the efforts that must be rendered. When you look at the Christian faith and you look at their religious text, the Bible, it is a quote in there. Forgive me for not having this scripture right at the forefront of my mind, but basically to surmise it, faith without works is dead, right? We have to be willing to do our part. But if we do our part, I wholeheartedly believe that you can manifest that dream, that vision. It's there for you, but you have to do your part. So I just pray and encourage each one of you to find that internal strength to render the efforts that are necessary for you to manifest your dream, because that's your dream. No one else has that dream, nor is anyone accountable for that dream other than yourself. So please be accountable to your dreams and encourage yourself. Speak life into your life. That's one thing that all of us are guilty at one point in time of not being conscious of what we are speaking in our life or what we're speaking over our life. We have to speak love into our lives. We got to speak love into yourself. And then most importantly, know that you each, and we are each, worthy of love. We can be vessels of love that pour upon this earth for the betterment of humanity, for the betterment of life for all, regardless of who we may pray to, what political affiliations, what your favorite color may be, right? We each have the ability to be a blessing to this world and a blessing to humanity. So I encourage each one of you to be that blessing. And I'm circling towards home base. I know I got about 10 minutes left. So the next principle, the second to last principle is justice, equity, and compassion in human relationships, right? For me, my mind went to empathy and kindness as far as compassion, self-worth and self-love as far as equity, and fair-mindedness as in regard to justice. It's so key that we are compassionate or we have empathy and kindness to one another, right? Because we're all going through something. We all had our struggles. We've all survived many of things. Myself, I could look back at my life and I thank the Lord for the grace that he has rendered and that the powers that be, the Lord and the Creator has given me, right? It was a time when I grew up in the church, and for many that know about growing up in the church, as soon as you get a little older, you try to run away from it as fast as you can, right? You know what I'm saying? But so I was out there emulating the environment outside of my home, because in my home, none of that foolishness was modeled. It wasn't modeled in the house, and that's a blessing. But in my community, being born and raised on the west side of San Bernardino, I've been exposed to my share of violence and negative things. And sadly, I even played a role in some of these negative self-destructive things. But I was covered by the blood, as my father would say, covered by the blood of the Lord, and allowed me to escape a lot of the pitfalls and traps that are often affect communities of color. I just want to briefly share this statistic. In this nation, 1 out of 3 African-American men will have a run-in with the incarceration system. But yet, as far as African-Americans in this country, we're only 14% of the population, but we almost account for almost half those that are incarcerated, right? Right now in this state, we have just passed a historical constitutional amendment, ACA 8, which will remove involuntary servitude from the state constitution. There's still slavery and exploitation being practiced in this land. We like to think that we've moved so far ahead, but some of the entities, my personal opinion, seem like they want to pull us backwards, right? There's still people that look like me that are forced to pick cotton right now. We thought we've been past that, right? So please support that effort when it reaches the ballot. Not telling you, consider it. Let me just say it like that. Consider that, if you could, if you're able. So when I look at empathy and kindness, that's compassion. When I look at self-worth and self-love, that's equity. Being equitable to yourself, investing in yourself, invest through knowledge, being learned, pursuing knowledge. We should be lifelong learners. We should always be looking to enrich ourselves, enrich our understanding, enrich our experience as we can until glory calls, right? Each day we should be of the learned mind, pursuing these things, the betterment, knowing that the knowledge that we gain, the wisdom that we gain, the insight that we gain, that we can impart that could be the foundation that the next generation builds upon. But first and foremost, know that you are loved and always be equitable in regards to your self-worth and your self-love. And as far as justice, fair-mindedness, we're so quick to judge a book by its cover, or, oh, you vote like this, you're this, and, other them, or alienate, oh, you love this, this is who you love, and no, nah, fair-mindedness. We're all trying to figure it out. There's no handbook that tells you, do this X, Y, and Z, and guarantee. There's no guarantees. But what I can guarantee to you today is that if you love yourself, speak life into your life, I guarantee that you'll feel better about that because love is a beautiful feeling. Love is a beautiful feeling, and that's something that we are all worthy of and that we should share with one another. So that's the second to last principle. And I'm rounding it out with this, and I'll leave you guys with a poetry piece. Because that's what I do as well. I'm a poet, I'm an author. My mom was like, Yanni, bring your books with you. So thank you, Bob. My latest creation is called Losing Weight, W-A-I-T, is a book about self-actualization. And then as well as I have the first 2 volumes of my motivational poetry, I Am Living Dreams, motivational poetry. And I'll be reading a piece a little bit later. But this final principle, the inherent worth and dignity of each person. We each are blessed to be alive. It is incumbent upon us to utilize the gift of life. That makes me harken back to the gift, the miracle, right? Praying for miracles. Life itself is a miracle. If you're here, you've already hit the genetic lotto, right? Because it's so many seeds and eggs that did not conceive, right? So the fact that you are alive today, that's a miracle. You've hit the lottery. So it's how do we spend that, the gift of life? How do we spend that? How do we utilize that? That's the key there, right? It's incumbent on each of us to utilize this gift because life goes by so quickly, and it may seem cliche, but as they say, life is what you make it, right? It really is. Where you choose to invest your time, what fields you choose to plant your seeds in, right? One thing I always say is that often in this world, in this life, we're never taught to look. We're never taught to look within ourselves. We try to model and emulate what's outside of ourselves. But the gifts, your blessings, your talents, they're seated within yourself. So you need to look inward to cultivate those gifts, those blessings. They will grow. Often I would say it like this, we've each been given seeds that are fertile seeds and will flourish and grow like the magic beanstalk, just to harken back to to those that grew up in that era. But they will not grow in hand. You must find fertile soil. You must find the courage to release those seeds, to pour those out. And then when those seeds hit the fertile soil, you must tend to those things. You must cultivate those things. I see that no different than our dreams. Wherever you want to see the victory at in your life, wherever you're hoping to have the increase in your life, right? You must till those fields. So cultivate those fields, your field of dreams. Cultivate those fields. Work those fields, till those fields, plow those fields. Use your human effort, spirit, and energy to manifest the dreams and visions you've been given. We are each blessed to be alive. And that concludes my speech or message on the 7 principles. And I'm going to leave you with this poetry piece. It's called As She Dances. I believe I read this here a while back. And actually my mom was so kind. We did print out like 10 of these. So if anybody would like an actual copy of the poetry piece, and there's some stuff at the bottom when I do my motivational realization part, I never read that. That's kind of like a message to the reader, a dialogue, you could almost say. So if anyone would be interested in a copy, you can let my mom know she's here in this beautiful purple dress with the silver wintry hair. Let me say it like that. Right next to her twin sister, my Alessandra, with the silver hair. Just look for the silver hair. Well, definitely. With that being said, let me deliver this piece. As she dances, through the pains, through the hurts, through the losses, through the tragedies, through the adversities, through the atrocities, through this rhythm. Gyration of the soul, spirit within the soul. Joy within each tap, joy within each shuffle, joy within. This movement of freedom, this movement of life, this movement flows from the backs of the beaten but not broken, flows from the bones of the crushed yet still erect, flows from the blood of innocence spilled, yet hope moves. From the percussion of the beating heart, from the pumping of the drums, crimson are the sounds filled with life within the music. This dance, this swaying of the limbs, this swinging of the hips, faster and faster with greater intensity with each turn, invoking of the ancestry of those that have danced before, for those that dance now, for those yet to dance, for the movements, for the love of the movements, for the love shown within these graceful movements. As jubilant joy floods the senses, overcome by the passions, overtaken by the desire, over the yonder as the movements transcend time and space. Upon the stars she moves, upon the moon she dances. Within the sun she moves, upon the heaven she dances. Within this ever-moving universe, seeking to know the movements of her so it may emulate the beauty of her form, the beauty of her grace, the beauty of her love, the beauty of her movements, how she captivates the masses as she dances through the storm, lifting her people, lifting her ancestry, lifting her legacy, lifting all of humanity. The prayers of her feet, the hymns of her hip, the praise from her bosom as she spins, as she turns, as she offers her joy to the world, as she offers her offerings of peace to the world, as she offers her vessel as a loving sacrifice unto the world, as you see pure happiness as she dances. What a love, what a passion, what a joy, the movements of you as you now dance, and releasing of the burdens and shames comprised of fearful doubts, shortcomings and shortfalls. The errors of our ways, all is forgiven and all is covered by the blood. Forgiveness seen upon the souls, renewed purpose seen in happy feet. As she dances for the joy, as she dances to show your love. Thank you for your time. God bless you.
Right, thank you very much, Ipyani. Our closing hymn is number 134 in the gray hymnal, Our World is One World. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand and body your spirit and join us in singing hymn number 134, Our World is One World. Again, it's in the gray hymnal or also up on the screen.
Our world is one world. What touches one affects us all. The seas that wash
The way we spend, the way we share, who are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
Our benediction is with passion and faith. Go out now with hearts and hands and minds renewed. Go to the world that is waiting for you. Go out to that world to bring your gentle touch to those in pain. Go out to feed and house those in need. Go out to speak truth to those with power. Go out with courage to do the work which calls you. Go out now with your passion and faith to change the world. Namaste. Amen. Blessed be. Satu. Thank you, Ipyani, for sharing your valuable time and insights with us this morning. It is sincerely appreciated, and we really look forward to seeing you again. For those of you who would like to stay in the sanctuary for 10 to 15 minutes for questions or to share some discussion or observations from the service, please remain in the sanctuary or online and be aware that the comments will be posted online. For the rest of you, you're now welcome to adjourn to the parish hall. Would anyone like to come up and share their thoughts?
Down here, okay. Have you ever been to a arena where there's a baseball game or a football game played, and the national anthem played, and you break out with goosebumps because it's a moving dynamic thing. I want to be a moving and dynamic speaker. I want to sing this. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Children of the Lord, we are children of the Lord. Victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is due him. He plunged me to victory beneath his cleansing blood. Almost paradise, I'm knocking on heaven's door. Almost paradise, he knows what I'm knocking for. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. I want to be a leader in this church. Example given like a pastor or minister. Yeah, I asked this guy in another church I go to, he says, we have, in order to be a pastor or minister, you have to have so much education. And they say you got to pray a lot. And you got to pray a lot. And I want to be okay. Billy Graham is a successful pastor and minister. I heard him on TV, and he exclaims, "Jesus is for everyone. Jesus is for everybody." Another pastor church on TV said, a man must be born again. You must be born again in order to enter into the kingdom of God. I want to be a leader. Will you follow me? I want to use this church as a dating club, but I have no money. Okay, life is supposed to feel good. For all of us, life is waking from when we wake up, go to bed, we're supposed to feel good. We eat, exercise, we're supposed to feel good. Okay, in the discipline or philosophy or any discipline you're starting, what you want to find out in that discipline is to find out why God made you. Okay, the only word I can't say here is the GD word. You know the GD word. I can be a motivational speaker and an inspirational speaker. When you listen to me, you will conclude maybe I can do something about my problems. There's a guy watching a pastor on my TV at this board and care where I stay at, and underneath where he was preaching, it said, "From drug dealer to pastor, my story. From fully blown boozer and stoner to American party man by land and sea. Back to a fully blown boozer and stoner to the sun.
You got about 30 seconds.
To a Lord of our Lord Jesus Christ." Okay, thank you. I hope you like that.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments or questions to share specifically about our sermon for Ipyani? Awesome.
Mr. Lockhert, I wanted to tell you how much I loved your poem. I don't think that you are a motivational speaker. I think you're a magician, because how did you rearrange the letters of the alphabet, a mere 26 letters, into words that conveyed such emotion? I am amazed by you. Thank you.
Oh, no.
Not only for the words, but also for a chance at a different way of looking at this thing. When dealing with this, with the 7 principles, you write enough sermons on it, you hear enough sermons, and it gets kind of hard finding a new thing. But you mentioned the musical angle, and here's something that might help you and certainly help me. As we go down from top to bottom, it's a matter of a single note. At first, it's a voice that says, "I hear you, C sharp. I hear you, C minus." Then you sit there and say, as it builds, you see it to where the quiet note in the darkness and in the light is sit there, it's recognized. Then it's okay for it to play a more complicated riff and to look around and to grow. And usually, right, for me, the hardest part of this practice is number 5. Trying to vote on it, trying to sit there and put it all into some giant cosmic order. What a pain. But by going for the music and going for the backwards, the stuff right around a 7 is shimmering, like a pot that's a boil, or just every drum in the place going. And then as you drop it back, you suddenly get a little clarity on there. And clarity is nice. I've not only hit enough notes in my life, but I've missed even more of them to sit there and appreciate that feeling of saying, oh, we're starting to talk about steering it. And the reason why 5 is such a pain for me is that by voting for one note, we're sort of voting against other notes. So that moment around 4 and 3 where it's like, brother, it's okay to test your voice. You started it as a C sharp. You don't have to end the chorus that way. And then that way, all of a sudden, the music is forming out and it's producing. And no wonder it gets a little bit thick by number 7. We're crossing the darned oceans and stuff to get it. But by going backwards and by the musical reference, that's really been helpful to me. Thank you.
For one moment, I saw the man come from the cave and rise up to the great phoenix that we all have inside. Thank you, Yanni, for giving us that vision. And thank you for explaining the principle so well. And I felt like I was blind, but now I see. Amen.
Thank you so much, Ipyani, for coming and speaking with us. And if you don't mind, I'd like to invite you back up for just one more minute, because there's actually an 8th principle we didn't tell you about, and I want your live reaction. Yeah. So, we in addition to all those wonderful things that you talked about, we also covenant to dismantle the systematic oppressions that pervade ourselves and our society at large. Can you just say what you think about that?
And totally thank you for that question. Like, I think as far as dismantling systematic oppression or many systems that are oppressive in this nation, right? When we think about, one thing I think that we have to really look at dismantling right now is how the Supreme Court has just voted to criminalize those that are unhoused, right? To put people in prison just because they may not have the means to provide for themselves or provide for housing, especially in this state. We know how expensive it is to live here, and to be willing to incarcerate people, but we're not willing to pay a sustainable wage, a living wage, to allow people. We're not willing to build the affordable housing or even think of innovative approaches. It makes me think of Maribel Nunez, with the Inland Empire Equity Partnership and the community land trusts that they're developing. I believe is in Victorville or in the high desert, Adelanto. And so they're utilizing creative and innovative approaches. I think we can dismantle some of these oppressive systems by being creative thinkers, by creating and encouraging innovation. We don't have to just utilize the normal tools. For instance, in this country, we like to look at law enforcement to be the end all be all of everything, right? Like, we want our law enforcement to be the mental health. We want our law enforcement to also get the person housed. We want the law enforcement to uphold the safety of community, right? But they can only jack of all trades, master of none, right? I believe, this is my own personal belief, but I do believe that there is a role for law enforcement, right? But I just don't see law enforcement being the right people to address mental health crises. I don't see law enforcement that hasn't been trained to de-escalate and deal with those kind of situations. And sadly, within this country, I've been blessed. I've been harassed. I've been pulled over. I've been accused. I've had many of things, and then I've also been given grace as well. So I don't want to just paint a picture as if it's all law enforcement's bad or anything. I have family that served. I come from a military family, but as far as to answer your question, and I'll leave with this: for us to deconstruct these oppressive systems in our nation, you have to look at yourself and see what role are you playing in that oppression. I might be playing a role in helping limit or holding others back. So it's about that accountability that we spoke for, and being truthful and honest in our mirror of self-reflection. You can't build on sin, you can build on truth, right? So it's about us having honest dialogue with ourselves, and are we emitting or reflecting the kind of light that we desire to see in our world. So thank you once again, brother.
Also, if there's anyone online who has any comments, you can use the raise hand function on Zoom, and we can call on you. Anybody else, any comments here in person? All right, well, if there are no further comments, thank you for sharing your thoughts and for joining us this morning. And please join us in the parish hall for further discussion and fellowship and coffee.